you speak, how you walk, how you blink, how you talk, how you teach, how you reach, let it sink.
What's your purpose? What's your passion? Did it pay? What's your plan? Is it plain?
On a plane, how'd you play? I'm just playing. What's your purpose? What's your passion?
Did it pay?
What's your plan? Is it plain? On a plane, how to play? I'm just playing.
What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna go ahead and get this part out the way in case I forget at the end. But if you are new here, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, like, and feel free to share. But please subscribe more than anything. Subscribe. I mean, like it too, so this content can keep coming back up on your YouTube timeline, if that's what it's called. If you're not new here, I am so appreciative of you continuing to come back and watch my content. Even if you haven't subscribed, but you keep watching, that helps me too, and I appreciate that too. Okay, so I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm just gonna get right into it. Well, I wouldn't be me if I didn't waste a little bit of time and ramble. So I love this. I love it. I do wish I maybe put it here so that I can angle my camera a certain way instead of it looking up. I have it up instead of it. I like it down because, you know, it hides little extra stuff. But it's okay because we are loving ourselves and we ain't even gonna worry about that. But I love my new apartment. I hope you guys watched that video. If you have not, please go on my channel and feel free to watch. Listen, I always say, like, I'm trying to build here as a brand. So while I do want people to watch and enjoy my content, I mean, I didn't put in all of this hard work for nothing. But even if sometimes you are on the go, you're busy, and you just gotta put it on in the background and let it play, I appreciate the view. I still need the view. Okay. I'm gonna get into it. Okay, so if you see my birthday vlog, probably other vlogs, I'm not sure how many he's a part of, but yes, me and my partner broke up. I mean, I can't even tell you how devastated I was. Like, if you would have seen me in this process, you would be like, girl, get over it, move on. But it's obviously not that simple to just pick up and move on when you've been with someone for a while and the relationship wasn't, you know, like years and years, but it was still my first relationship after my last one. If you've seen my video on navigating narcissism, check that out as well. But it was my first relationship after dealing with a narcissist, and I did work on myself a lot. At least I thought I did. The real test comes when you do get into another relationship and you see certain things coming up. Probably wasn't ready as I thought that I was. There was a lot of trust issues that I'm not going to make it like it's past tense because I still deal with that. You know, I dealt with cheating before. I'm pretty sure I've been cheated on before in my other relationships, but I did not know about it. You know how women we have this intuition, like you feel it, you know, or you know it. I've had plenty of those feelings where I'm like, I know you was doing something, but I couldn't prove it, you know, or I ended up finding out later after the relationship was over. Shout out to my first love because he's one of my best friends, but he's the one that actually told me. He's the only one that told me, and that's probably why I got so much respect for him to this day and why we're friends, because we can always be real with each other and keep it honest with each other. And he's moved on. He has his own family and a new baby, which I'm so happy for. I'm so excited to see him in this space and see him as a dad and a husband. Like, he's married. He ain't just move on. He's married, you know. We were together, dang, maybe 10, 15 years ago at this point, 2010. 2010. But he told me, you know, later, probably with a little bit of libations in the mix, so he probably didn't even really mean to, but he did tell me that he was with someone towards the end of our relationship when we were kind of like falling apart and not going to be together anyway, before I moved to California. That's a whole other story, because he ended up with, don't matter. But before he ended up with someone that was really hurtful for him to end up with, I'll just say that, yeah, he cheated on me while we were still together. And I respect him for mentioning it, even though it was like several years after the fact. But anywho, so the fact that my last relationship, like, I was living with this person and I saw it, because this is how I know I was dealing with a narcissist. And it's not even funny because, especially with everything going on with Cassie and Diddy right now, and we actually see footage of it, which is crazy. But he gave me his password in the very beginning of our relationship. So when I felt like things were going on, yes, I went in the phone. Okay, judge your mama. I went in the phone. I had never gone in any other partner's phone before because I never had a password. And I'm not that person where I'm not that pressed where I'm gonna try to figure out the password. I'm not gonna take, well, this wasn't out in those other relationships, but if it were, I'm not gonna be the one to do the fingerprint or put the phone up to your face. Like, I'm not doing all of that. If I feel it, I feel it. I'm gonna ask you about it. If you tell me the truth, great. But if you don't, I firmly believe that my good Lord will tell me when something is going on. Fast forward to this current relationship that I was just in. I did kind of have similar feelings, but at the same time, there was a lot of trauma mixed in there. And I'm not going to say he has or hasn't, because to this day, I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know that every time I thought I was catching something, I was completely wrong, like way off. And it got to a point where he was tired of it. He was not dealing with that anymore, you know, but it was just my past. It just kept creeping up and creeping up and creeping up. And then on top of it, experiencing physical abuse, that's a whole other type of psychological damage. And like Cassie recently put in one of her posts acknowledging the whole video footage thing, it hit home for me when she posted what she said, because it really never goes away. And people that don't understand it or have never been through it, they don't get it. they don't get it. So it is something that stays with you. And of course, you know, I've gone to therapy. I've actually been using BetterHelp.com. I had to cancel it because, I'm sorry, I gotta say it, they charge an arm and a leg. Okay, and my insurance would not cover it. And I did get a discount. They give you like a little discount for a few months, and then after that, you're on your own. I will say the therapist that I did have during the time that I did have BetterHelp.com was phenomenal, awesome. If I had the funds, if I was rich, okay, I would do it again. I would absolutely recommend BetterHelp.com if you got the coins. Because if not, baby, it's gonna drain your pockets. But I've done a little bit of therapy. I may end up going back to my therapist at my regular primary care physician's office. They have dentistry and behavioral health and all that. So I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sucked there. I never felt like I was really heard. I just kept feeling like I'm different. Like, you gotta deal with me a certain way. Like, I'll just say I'm highly intellectual. And I beat myself up a lot as it is. You know, I've been working on that and not doing it as much. I've been giving myself more grace. But, you know, I do still deal with that here and there. So I already have a lot of thoughts running through my head. I really don't need someone to tell me what to do and just like listen for 5 seconds and then like, well, do this. Or maybe if you do this, or maybe because half the time I'm going to be like, I tried that. I did that. I did that. I did that. You know, for me, what has helped and why I loved my therapist with BetterHelp.com is because she actually listened, she engaged. She didn't tell me any of her personal business, of course, but she would relate to me and say, yeah, I definitely understand it. Yeah, I'm a mom myself, or yeah, I've been through some bad relationships, or, you know, but she would lightly suggest like, hey, have you ever tried? Like, she would ask me instead of just throwing out there what she thinks I should do or telling me what to do. She would suggest, hey, have you tried this? Oh, you're doing that? That's great. That is awesome. You know, that maybe try taking it a step further in this way. It's something I might have thought of. And I'm like, oh, I like that. Thank you. So I feel like I broke up with her too because BetterHelp app had to go. But for the time that I had my therapist, I really did love it. And I appreciate her so much. I wish I could say her name, but I love her so much. She has no idea how much she helped me. We've only had maybe 5 or 6 sessions, and they were really good. But I definitely can say I do not feel like my journey with therapy is finished, because it's not just the relationship that I was in before. I was in other relationships that have caused a lot of damage, a lot of verbal, mental, and not even just from the other person, me as well. You know, myself, I had to work on a lot of things. And part of me can't help but to feel like the relationship that I was last in was a little bit of karma. Part of me felt like I deserved it, and I do battle with that. But now that it's been a year and a half plus, you know, I have completely reevaluated that and realized that none of it was my fault, and that no, I did not deserve that, regardless of whatever I've done in the past, or, you know, just anything that I feel like I've been through. And then spiritually, you know, you reap what you sow. So I do believe that, but I just feel like no one deserves to be pushed down on the floor. Still have the bruise to this day. My whole elbow is still messed up. I can't put it on the surface without it really like hurting and feeling like it's in a million pieces. It's not that bad as it was, but it's still there. So that's still a reminder. And no one deserves to be smothered in any kind of way, you know. He almost got to me recently, and I will say that. I hate telling too much, but I do feel like this situation can help someone else, especially if you've been through a narcissistic relationship and then you're going into the next one. I have had Stockholm syndrome at times, you know, and I've had moments where I've reached out to this person because that's what I was used to. And I've been ashamed of that. I've felt horrible for it because I didn't understand why I still felt the need to reach out or have this person in my life or check on them or whatever the excuse, the reason. You know, I have beat myself up for that because I kind of remembered, you know, the fact that my ex, who was abusive, he was very passionate about me, you know, at least when we were good, because it was, Lord knows, throughout the day, be good, be not, be good, be not. But, you know, he appeared to be very passionate about me, and I kind of missed that. I'm used to chaos, I'm used to drama and this and that, and although I'm extra and I'm very vocal and boisterous and all of that, that doesn't really mean that I love drama. But being the unstable creature that I was, what movie was that? Baby Boy, when he said, y'all some unstable creatures.
House full of women, cuz. House full of sensitive ass females. Dealing with that damn hormones. Y'all some unstable creatures. See, I ain't gonna say the B word. I'm gonna say unstable creatures.
I've been one of those unstable creatures, okay? But I never wanted the drama, you know what I mean? But like I said, I'm in therapy for several reasons, and I grew up hearing, arguing, and, you know, just hearing and seeing things that I probably should not have heard or seen. So, you know, in turn, it was hard to not be argumentative and, you know, be down somebody's back about what you doing, what you doing, what you doing, you know, and basically be overwhelming, you know. But by the time I became a mother, I was exhausted of all of that. And really, as I became a mother, I was exhausted of all of that. I have no more argue in me, or so I thought, because I'm human, and you keep coming at me, at some point it's going to come out too, you know. But like I said, after becoming a mother, I did not, you know, I wanted to be a different person for my child. And I even started growing before I became a mother and started realizing certain things about myself and my childhood that I knew that I needed to address, and things about myself that I wanted to change. And becoming a mom definitely helped to boost that. I can say that I was a much calmer person after becoming a mother. So when this relationship came, it was weird because the dynamic switched, where I'm like the low-key calm person, and I had this person that's kind of like the old me a little bit. I liked that about him. Fast forward yet again to this new situation, or newer situation. I just was not used to his type of calm. Like he is a very humble guy, I'm not gonna say soft-spoken, because he'll get with you if he needs to, okay? But we have not had not one argument. We've had disagreements, or times where I've gotten a little emotional and we just going back and forth, but it was never really disrespectful, you know, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to being disrespected or harsh words being thrown at me and vice versa. That did kind of take a toll on this relationship, and I realized I had more work to do, because I realized too, just because you're not arguing doesn't mean that you can't be toxic, and doesn't mean that you still have things in you that needs to be flushed out. And I low-key started kind of feeling like the narcissist, I'll say. I started kind of feeling, I mean, I don't live in their bodies. I don't know what it feels like to be in their mind and their body, and I'm not a narcissist, but you know, things can rub off on you when you get used to something, when you're so attached and connected to another person. So I did become a little jealous. You know, my person, we kind of have a long distance relationship. It's not too far of a distance, but it's far enough to where I can't do a pop-up, you know. I used to do that. I'm not ashamed to say I used to do the pop-ups. That's how I met my daughter's godmom, Tatiana. But it's probably a good thing that you don't live around the corner, because that helped me to see my growth as well, because I darn sure am not driving up to where he lives just to see if he doing something wrong. So I literally was put in a position where I have to trust. I have to go off of what he says. And ladies, we know that's hard. We know these men today, it's hard to just go off of their word. You really got to be in a secure place within yourself to trust anybody, you know, friends, family, you know, future partners or whatever, whoever you with, whoever you're dealing with. It's hard when you've been through so much and you've been betrayed and you've been lied on, you know, it's just been a lot of things in your life that has caused you to not trust. So going through this breakup, like I said, was so hard for me, but I'll tell you what, I needed it. I was finally in a position where I couldn't be the victim. And like I said, I don't condone violence. I don't condone toxicity, none of that. I don't care what I used to be, who I am now. We don't go for that. And I can't really say that I'm someone that's addicted to being the victim, because I also know how to take accountability. I know how to apologize and say when I'm wrong. And I've pretty much always been like that. I mean, when I'm hot-headed though, like it takes a little bit, like let me calm down. And then I can, you know, fully evaluate myself. But that's the key. You know, I always evaluate myself, and I'll apologize and tell you that I'm wrong and take accountability for my part in whatever situation. But I've always been in relationships, even friendships, where I felt like I've been hurt, you know, and I'm sure I've hurt people as well. Like I said, I take accountability, key factor. But as a human, of course, you know, you focus on your hurt when you get stung, whether it's your ego or just full-on betrayal. You know, I've always been in that position for the most part, but specifically speaking of romantic relationships, yeah. I know I've been wrong in a lot of reasons. I know I deserve to be broken up with at times, but this time I knew that it was like absolutely my fault. And like I said, I'm not gonna say that he's perfect, but it was my fault. And it's something different about knowing that it's your fault when you're not used to that. I mean, I felt that plenty of times in my life, you know, but like, I don't know. It was just like, I felt like God blessed me with this person and with this relationship. And I felt like I completely just messed up my blessing. I do understand and know, and I firmly believe that what's for you is for you. And regardless, you know, but at the same time, I do feel like you can abuse grace. You can abuse blessings, and just as much as they're given, they can be taken. Just like, you know, God gave you life, but if you don't treat this temple right, if you know, do a whole bunch of drugs, or, you know, you don't take care of your health or pay attention to your health, you don't see the doctor, and you just do whatever to your body, you're probably gonna not be here sooner than what you think. So I had to deal with those emotions, and those feelings were very difficult for me. I literally sat at this desk for about 2 weeks. I sat at this desk crying and just listening to music. I was just not okay, like, at all. This may sound real dramatic, but like, I was really going through it. I barely showered. I barely cooked. I cooked for my child. I did whatever I needed to do necessary to take care of my daughter. But other than that, I was not putting in any love and care to myself, like, at all. And I know that sounds crazy, like, oh, well, if a person, you break up with a person and you going through all that, do you really need that person? But you gotta understand how the ego works. I don't fully understand how the ego works. I just know that feeling that hit to my ego, feeling like, yeah, I got me somebody finally that really loves me, really cares about me, he's here for me, he's supportive, like he check off everything, you know. And to just feel like I sabotaged that. I do have a history of self-sabotage, but this was like catastrophic to me. And honestly, like I said, I needed it. And even sitting here not doing much with myself, and I wasn't vlogging, I wasn't doing anything, it actually felt really good to just like sit in my feelings and just let myself purge, cry, get it out. I mean, when we broke up, I can't even tell you, like, it came from here. Like, I did a huge scream. Like, I was and then went into a cry. Like, that was, I thought my heart was gonna fall out of my chest. If you've been through that, please comment below. Like, I know I'm not the only one that's been through a horrible breakup where you just felt like, it's my fault, how can I get this person back? And the more and more time went by, it just felt like there was nothing I could do to get this person to trust that, you know, I'm working on not being that person anymore that I've become, that I never thought that I would really become, where I'm just like completely playing in somebody's face. And like, not literally playing in his face, but definitely getting a little too comfortable to where I just felt like I can just say whatever. And like I said, being overbearing and worrying about him cheating and wanting proof of, like, you know, things. A lot of that also came from, not just from my past, but you know, we had been together for a while, so I started noticing, because I'm not going to put it all on myself. Love you, Mar. But, you know, I did start to feel in the relationship like there wasn't much effort being put in anymore, the way it once was in the beginning, where there's showering with dates and, you know, just all this love and attention and affection. You know, I hadn't been used to that either in a healthy way. So getting that and then it's like dwindling down or being taken away, that was very rough for me too. And that will make any woman feel like, what you doing? Are you really out here being faithful? Or like, are we good? You know? And that started to wear on me, and I did communicate how I felt, and I just didn't see any progress at that time. So those negative feelings and the intrusive thoughts just started getting worse and worse and worse. But like I said, with the breakup, you know, it was hard for the both of us because we still did communicate a little bit, even though he ghosted me. He didn't talk to me for a while. But we slowly started talking again, and we've gone on a few dates. And sorry, I keep seeing notifications on my phone. I'm still not filming with my camera yet. If you see it, my little Sony. But yeah, we've gone on a couple of dates, and I hope they keep going, and we're slowly starting to be around each other again and spend time together. And I can say he's been kicking up. He's been, you know, allowing me to be my vulnerable self and be my truthful self, where I can communicate my feelings. I mean, he always has, but I see the effort again, and sometimes couples need a little space apart. I don't like that normally. I don't like the whole break thing, but it helped. It helped us, and who knows if it'll happen again. We could work, we could not work, you know, and I'm definitely not going to give y'all the ins and outs and the details of my whole relationship, because who does that? But we're in a good space, and it's been great, and I love it. But I just wanted to touch on the fact that if you've been in a relationship where you've been, or where you've dealt with, oh, it's getting hot in here. I had to turn off the air so that y'all hear the air. but it's getting hot now, so I know I gotta end this video because I'm starting to sweat after a shower. But like I said, you know, if you've been in a relationship that has been, like, specifically, I know that a lot of, especially our culture, you know, we get loud with each other, argue and all that foolishness, you know, not that that's okay either, you know, but unfortunately it has been normalized in my culture. But I'm speaking specifically to anyone that has dealt with abuse of any kind, even if it's mental, you know, emotional, spiritual, financial, whatever it is, because I think people tend to think that you got to be physically abused to really be a person that was abused. And even in my last relationship before this one, it wasn't like it was just pounding and punching on me all the time. Like it wasn't like that. We just, you know, had several incidents that got really heated. The ugly in both of us came out. And like I said, I've reached out, which I shouldn't have, but you deal with that, you know, you deal with wanting to go back, or you deal with, like, even if you don't want the person, you're not in love with the person, but there's just this weird connection, or you're weirdly used to it. And I genuinely cared about that person, even though to this day, that person says all types of crazy stuff. The last conversations we've had, this person, it went back and forth. It went from the person saying, I love you, I miss Kai, and then cussing me out and telling me I'm a bad mother when you ain't even been around me in over a year and a half, you know, telling me I'm this and I'm that. They're still a narcissist. And that's the thing, a narcissist will not change. Even if they have therapy, like Dr. Ramani said, a narcissist might be here and you can get them to, like, right here, but it's never going to be like a full cure. It's a personality disorder. So there's that. But if you've been in a relationship dealing with a narcissist or dealing with abuse, 9 times out of 10, if that person can put hands on you and it's continuing, they're probably a narcissist. But if you've dealt with any of that, you know, it is important. I want to deeply express that it is very important to do the self-work. Take as much time as you can. Only you can take the time. A lot of people in my life has tried to say, you need to be single for a year. You need to be... Can't nobody say what time something should occur or how much time you should take, but you and God. Only you and God know where you are internally, externally, mentally, spiritually. But I will say, try your best to do the work. And if you start noticing these things coming up, even if it's in your friendships or a new relationship, it's okay to get help. It's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to acknowledge that you need help, or that this is something that has happened to you that has caused you to turn into a different person, that you don't even recognize yourself at times. Literally, you were psychologically toyed with. So it's going to take some rewiring in there to get you back to a space of regularity in any way. Your nervous system has been messed up, so you have to re-regulate your nervous system and, like, everything. So it is my prayer to anyone that is watching that has been through what I've been through, that you go get the help, man. Like, take some time for yourself. I definitely don't believe you should jump into a new relationship. So going back to the time thing, I will say that I don't think you should break up with a narcissist yesterday and then get with somebody else that's been in your inbox tomorrow. Like, it don't work like that. I don't think even a week is, like, enough time. But that's me. You know, like I said, the timing of things, divine timing, is between you and your creator, okay? But do the work. As Mama Iyanla would say, do the work. Do your work, so that you don't damage anyone going further, and so that when you get into another relationship, you'll also notice the signs. You'll notice things about a narcissist, and you'll notice things that are toxic or things that just don't align with you, that you don't want anymore. I mean, honestly, after dealing with a narcissist, you're probably going to have this checklist in your head anyway, and everything or anyone around you, you're going to be, like, squeamish and you're going to nitpick things. But that's why it's important to do the work, so that when you do get someone that is really good for you and that, you know, you would want in your life, and that helps you to grow, helps you to flourish, and encourages you to love yourself, to be closer with God. Like, that's the type of person that you want in your life, no matter who it is and no matter the relationship. But you don't want to damage that person, or you don't want to feel the effects of that person being a solid person. Like, they're good with themselves, even if they got their own issues, but they're solid enough to be like, you know what, I don't like this here, I don't like what you're doing, and I don't think this is going to work for me anymore, and they walk away. And that's going to be another type of pain. Take it from me. Thankfully for me, you know, the person that I've been dealing with feels the same way about me, which is a beautiful thing. And I'm learning that we express it differently. We have different love languages, but that's not always the case. And that's the thing too. If you don't heal and you go through something like that, you might end up worse off. And like I said, you don't want to further damage yourself or other people around you. So just do the work. But anywho, I'm going to end this vlog, and I hope that you were really listening with your mature ears to be able to understand where I'm coming from. And if you're in that situation at all, please go, skedaddle, like just leave, run if you can, run. But thank you guys again so much for watching, and I hope you subscribe to my channel for more content and hit the notification bell for any future uploads. I'm going to try to be more consistent with my videos again like I was at one point, but life just has been lifing, so bear with me. Thank you for watching thus far. If you've been rocking with me, if you're new here, you know what to do. Like I said, subscribe. I'm going to press that point. Subscribe, okay? Love you guys. See you in the next vlog.